right. Okay, we are up and running. All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Tyler. Welcome back to Scorpio Oxman channel. And here is Tarif. Let's give a huge hand for Tarif on the show. Thanks. Yeah, thanks for joining us, Tarif. And yeah, you've been very active, asking me a lot of questions and supporting my channel on Scorpio Oxman channel. And yeah, we arranged this. So basically, I mentioned to Tarif this is really a Saturday night hangout that we're treating it, and you know, just so that there's no well, it's a Saturday night because, and I also, by the way, I also wanted to arrange this at this time. I thought of us having the meeting a little later, but because it's a Saturday night, we got to save the time for the party, right? For our parties that we're going to later on. So that's what we're, yeah. So anyhow, you mentioned to me that your moon sign, Purva Ashadha, that's how it's pronounced.
Mastering
right?
the zodiac, yeah.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, according to Mastering the Zodiac.
And then the Vedic one, it's Uttara Ashadha in Sagittarius, both in Sagittarius though.
Both in Sagittarius. Yeah, yeah, that makes.
And then the Mastering Zodiac system, it's in the second pada, which is the Mercury ruled pada.
Yeah.
And the Vedic one is ruled by the Sagittarius Navamsh, and which is ruled by Jupiter.
Yeah,
and
yeah. Oh, sorry, go on.
Oh, sorry. You're talking.
I know your so in the true sidereal system, which that's the one Mastering the Zodiac, your Purva Ashadha, it's the fourth pada, if I'm not mistaken. You know what? I'll have to double check to remind me though. But yeah, you're right about what you've said about your description, and because the comparing here. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll find it here. But yeah, it's yeah, I'm pretty sure I mentioned, or actually, I think a second pada of. All right, I'll come across it here. Yeah, but feel free. And so. Just a reminder for you, there is a rule I have with my guests. The rule is you get to interrupt me anytime with any questions. I'm not allowed to interrupt you, but you get to interrupt me. So that's so feel free to throw any questions my way. I'll take it. I'll take it.
All right.
And by the way, so you're oh, I'm pronouncing your name correctly, am I? Your first name, Tarif?
Well, people call me, my parents call me Tarif, but
okay.
But the rest of the people call me Tarif.
Tarif?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tarif. Okay. Yeah. If you prefer that, by all means, Tarif. Yeah. And so you're a big so you sound like you're a big wrestling fan of the WWE, are you?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think in the Vedic I'm an Anuradha sun, and then a Vishaka sun in the Mastering the Zodiac.
Yeah. That's correct. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I've watched wrestling since 2006 with my cousins.
Oh, nice.
And and I think I was absolutely terrified by the Triple H with the skull thing, skull cap, but when my cousins introduced me to it, I was like, oh, this is actually pretty cool, and I quite enjoyed it. And
that's a Triple H.
Triple H, yeah.
And were you? I know. So back in the day, about 20 years ago, around 20 years ago, my brother and I were huge fans of it as well. That was when The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, was he was one of the biggest superstars in the world. Well, he is right now today, but back in those days, he even was too, even though he was not just in the wrestling world, but like Hollywood, he was really picking up on Hollywood too with The Rock. This is The Rock. and him and Stone Cold Steve Austin, those two were the titans. They were the titans of the back then it was called the WWF. This was, but I think when they around the time when they changed the name, the WWE, I think they were still there, if I'm not mistaken. The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin were still there at the time. And this is in the early 2000s.
Yeah,
but
I think The Rock left in 2004. I think
it was. You're right. It was around there. Around there. Yeah, he went into acting. He went into acting full time, and then, today he's one of the biggest stars today, The Rock. Yeah. And if you wish, Tarif, you and I, if you want to join me, we could, on May the 2nd. So The Rock's birthday is May the 2nd. If you want to join me in on when I do a video on his, we could analyze his birth chart in the Vedic and Mastering the Zodiac as well.
I think he was a Jeshta Mula native. I think
he is. So in the Vedic, his moon is Mula. I think his moon is Mula in the Vedic.
Oh yes. Yeah.
But in the Mastering the Zodiac, it's Jesta. It's his moon in the Mastering the Zodiac system. His moon is Jesta, but still Sagittarius. It's still the Sagittarius side.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's still Sagittarius, that's obvious. That's pretty obvious. And it seems a lot of the wrestling stars are Sagittarius moons. Go figure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so your moon, the second last of Sag. Yeah, your moon is second. So on the Mastering the Zodiac system, your moon, and I'll try to hold this up. Well, it's not easy to see this, I know, but yeah, the Purva Ashadha.
Yeah.
The Purva Ashadha number 20. Yeah, so your moon is the second pada of Purva Ashadha. Yes. Second pada. So that's the one ruled by Venus, in the Taurus Navamsha or
Navamsh.
Right. Yeah, that one. And it's ironic. It's quite interesting because my moon is also second pada of Anuradha in the Vedas. So those are the two so basically the two you're the Venus ruled pada and I'm the Mercury ruled pada, and that makes a lot of sense with us getting along as friends. Now, unless it's it could be a coincidence, but I think the padas, I don't know what it is about, they don't seem to talk a lot about the padas, do they? But I don't know if it's kind of a secret they're kind of trying to keep, or that they don't want. Somehow I get a feeling they don't want too much of the info getting out there about some things about astrology, but that's just a theory.
Oh, you said you were born on Jeshta and the Vedic, and then Anuradha and the real Vedic?
That's correct. Or Mastering the Zodiac and Mastering the Zodiac.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah, Mastering the Zodiac, masteringthezodiac.com. So just an explanation for the viewers again, what we're mentioning about it, masteringthezodiac.com, they claim that they show the real natural sky as it really is if we were to see it with our own eyes, as I always explain. Now, I believe it's true because, the analysis and the research I've done, and that you've probably done too, it seems quite authentic. And especially among the celebrities and famous people, it seems quite authentic compared to the traditional Vedic. But again, I'm not going to make any conclusions, but it's just one that I follow, really. And but it's something quite interesting. But people also ask the question, is it anything new? And the correct answer is no. You know, the mastering the zodiac and the true, what they call true sidereal, it's nothing new really, but it's just the public is not as familiar with it as in these days.
Exactly.
They're kind of, it's just like, it's exactly like there's different research fields of everything in science. Some of them are more up to date than others. Some of them are kind of further ahead in the times. And I'm not saying that's true, but this is just what their claim is. They're saying, oh, our research field is, we're kind of more ahead in research, and that, and other ones are not as ahead as us. But again, not to sound offensive to the other research field, because like I have nothing against tropical at all, the tropical system.
Yeah.
But because the truth is, a lot of the YouTubers on YouTube who have their channels where they talk about the tropical zodiac astrology, like they inspired me, you know, they really inspired me for me to start a channel on astrology as well. So, you know, they really inspire me. So, I mean, and you learn just as much, whatever your belief is and whatever research field that you follow. I mean, it's all generally the same. You know, the signs of the zodiac from Aries to Pisces, it still remains the same. The general. Now, there's just an argument about the locations of them in outer space in the sky. That's the only argument. So, but
my nakshatra is Purva Ashadha, right? Purva Ashadha.
Yeah.
And that is ruled by Appa Vasu. I think that's the water god, and that's this nakshatra is endowed with. First of all, let's go into brief about the symbolism. The symbolism of this nakshatra is I think there's a bed plank, I think.
And the symbol, yeah.
Yeah, and then the elephant tusk. One the broken elephant tusk is Purva Ashadha, which is on the left, and the right is Uttar Ashadha.
Right. Yeah.
And these two nakshatras are probably among the most powerful, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
They're up there. They're for
very
sure.
up
Yeah.
I think I watched one video where it described how the Purusharthas behind all the Purusharthas or modes of life behind the nakshatra, like Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Those, are you familiar with those? Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
And behind each nakshatra is a Purushartha, and from Ashwini to Purva Ashadha, Uttar Ashadha is sort of a combination of all 20 of those nakshatras, and it's probably endowed with the power of how do I say it? It's endowed with the power of all those nakshatras together, because of but it doesn't mean that you're superior for having that nakshatra, but it's very powerful. That's what I'm trying to say. And
yeah.
And Purva Ashadha is ruled by Venus, right? And so it's a feminine nakshatra. It's the exaltation of Venus. And it's ruled by Jupiter and Venus. So the Jupiter part is ruled by Sagittarius, and and so it's ruled by, it's in a fire sign. And the other nakshatras like Bharani and Purva Phalguni Bharani is pretty powerful.
Number two.
Number two. But it's in the first section of the I think there are like 9 nakshatras in each section. how do I say it?
The padas, the 4 padas.
Oh no, like nine nakshatras with I think with that are in order of planetary ruler.
Right.
Like and Bharani is in the first, Purva Phalguni is second, and Purva Ashadha is in the third in terms of Venus rulership.
Right, Venus ruled the Venus ruled ones.
Yeah. And but Bharani is probably, because it's ruled by Mars and Venus. It's
the Aries side of it is by Mars, and the Taurus side by Venus.
I think Venus and Mars neutralize each other, I think, because Venus is in Greek mythology is Aphrodite, and Mars is Aries, and
that's the connection.
That's the connection. And it was sort of a lustful encounter between the two. How do I say it? Like
Mars and Venus.
Mars and Venus. Like it wasn't. I don't know how to describe it better, but it was. They. Sorry. It was. Aphrodite is sort of like the goddess who tests men and women, and sort of she's the goddess of romance, the beauty of art, of aesthetics, right?
This is the Venus related.
Venus.
Venus.
So people with Venus born nakshatras are very oriented towards that beauty, creativity, aesthetics, and normally, from what I saw, the Mars and the Venus nakshatra compatibility is not very high, but they have a very high romantic link to each other. Like
interesting. That's interesting. Yeah. So generally they don't get along too well, like a relationship wise, like friendship wise. Would you say? Or I mean, maybe actually I was going to ask, you'd say friendship wise they probably get along, but a serious relationship wise maybe not so much. But romantically they get along well.
Exactly.
What they, and that's between Mars ruled and Venus ruled.
Venus and Mars, yeah.
The one thing that's very evident to me, and you like, I see it all the time I've seen it with people I know and with celebrities too, is that the strong Aries natives, they're naturally attracted to the Taurus natives, because the reason is very simple, as it says on paper, that fire is drawn to earth, and the 4 elements: the fire, earth, air, and water. And so basically the fire signs are attracted to the earth signs, basically. Exactly. So and especially, and I think Aries being the first, especially, right? Aries being the first and Taurus being the second. So yeah, the Mars ruled and the Venus ruled. That makes sense why that's the case between Mars and Venus.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the other thing too, I just want to mention briefly, was about numerology. Is what I what I noticed because I research numerology as well, but the one thing that really stands out, Mars is ruled by the number 9, and in Venus, the number that rules Venus, it's 6, the number 6, and it says that 6 and 9, the numbers 9 and 6 they're highly compatible. 95, it actually says 95% compatible, but this is just on paper though.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Basically the numbers alone 9 and 6 are 95% compatible, they say, and that's interesting considering 9 is ruled by Mars, 6 is ruled by Venus. So that's
which is the last Venus year, I think.
The last
year ruled by Venus, I think.
Yeah, that's the last one. It's Purva Ashadha.
Oh, the year in numerology.
Oh, the last year in regards to. Oh, you mean the last year that added up to 6?
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. So this past year was 4. The next one is so the next one, the year 2022. Next year is the next. So 2013, the year 2013. That was the last 6 year in numerology. That was the year of the snake, the year the year of the water snake in Chinese astrology, as the year 2013.
Yeah. And I think with these natives, with regards to, I think Uttar Ashadha and I'm born in Purva Ashadha, but with regards to these natives, they tend to do less well in life in the early stages, I think, and then later on they start to do better in their 30s, and then everything's smooth sailing from there.
And this is both natives. This is both number 20 and 21 of Nakshatra. Right. And you want to know something too? I don't know how big. I know you're a wrestling fan, you mentioned, but are you big on sports at all? The Toronto Raptors. You're familiar with the Toronto Raptors?
I'm familiar, but I don't really watch basketball.
Basketball, yeah. Well, believe it. So they won the National Basketball Association, the Toronto Raptors. They're my favorite sports team. Who they're 25 years of existence. So they won the NBA championship 2 years ago, and their star player Kawhi Leonard, his name is. He's born June. His birth date is June the 29th, 1991. Guess what his moon is? it's Uttar Ashadha. His moon is Uttar Ashadha. And
Vedic or Mastering the Zodiac?
Yeah, his moon. Yeah, and that's in Mastering the Zodiac,
according
to Mastering the Zodiac.
Okay.
But in the Vedic, I think in the traditional Vedic, it's his moon is Purva Ashadha, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't have we don't have his time of birth. But I think he's LA native, born in Los Angeles. But he's on paper, he's in Mastering the Zodiac, he's a Uttar Ashadha moon.
Oh wow, that's very fascinating.
So but they say that they're one of the things it mentions, and I'll read it off. I'm looking at the website here. I'm going to leave links for this video of ours, Tarif. I'm going to leave links below that show the AusterianAstrology.com. So AusterianAstrology.com, really all it is, it's the Greek version of Vedic astrology.
Yes, I've visited.
Yeah, it's still regarding, it is regarding the 27 nakshatras, only it's going by their Greek names instead of their Hindu Yodish Hindu names as they're called, right?
Yes.
And so it mentions here about on Austerian astrology, those with Uttarashada natives. But in Austerian astrology, it's called Nadara. The name is Nadara, number 21 nakshatra. But it's still Uttarashada. So it mentions here, it says Uttarashada people are enduring, they're enduring, invincible, it says. It says they're invincible, patient, righteous, and responsible. They have great integrity and great integrity and are sincere, committed to ideals, ambitious, and good. They're good leaders. And you just mentioned this now too, what it says here too. They usually have success later in life.
Exactly.
And they have great stamina and constancy. But some shadow sides about them is they can be rigid and unbending. And I guess that I think unbending kind of means stubborn. I don't know if I think that's kind of a reference to stubbornness, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm not too sure about rigid, what rigid means. You know what that rigid means?
Rigid. Rigid means sort of firm, or how do I say it? Firm in what they believe or what they think, something along those lines. Yeah.
So basically, it's referring, if they have their mind set to something, there's no changing their mind. No changing their mind. So, and I mean, I guess you could call that a shadow side in a sense, but I mean, I think it's mostly got to be good, because we do need people like that, of course, right? Because
they're uncompromising.
Yeah. Because you don't want everybody just taking orders from anybody and them not having their own viewpoints and path, that, because that wouldn't be a good thing, of course.
I think let's talk about Scorpio, and I think I forgot, it was the Sun, Venus, Mercury, and ascendant at Scorpio in the Vedic, but I'm not sure about in the Mastering the Zodiac.
Yeah. So in Mastering the Zodiac, you have Venus in Scorpio, the Vishaka side. Your Venus is the fourth pada of Vishaka in Scorpio, fourth pada, and your rising. It says your rising is literally at the very. Your rising is literally at the beginning of Anuradha, Scorpio, right at the beginning, the first pada. So that's the Leo. That's interesting. That's the pada ruled by the sun, and the Leo Namsha, or Navash, however it's pronounced. Right. Yeah.
It's all right. Navamsha.
Yeah. But that's you also have Pluto. Your Pluto is almost in the exact spot as your Venus. So
wow,
they're literally in the same spot, like side by side.
I noticed that
on the Mastering the Zodiac.
Yeah. My Mercury was in Jeshta in the Vedic, but I'm not sure in the Mastering the Zodiac.
Yeah, Mastering the Zodiac. Your Mercury. Your Mercury is second pada of. It looks like. I'm sorry. So your Mercury is third pada of Anuradha.
Oh.
Third pada of Anuradha, and on the Ophiuchus side. So in the Mastering the Mastering the Zodiac, it goes. Just reminding the viewers that Mastering the Zodiac does count Ophiuchus as being the sign of Ophiuchus, it mentions, which is right between Scorpio and Sagittarius. And so basically the Anuradha nakshatra in the Mastery in the Zodiac, it begins in Scorpio, the first half basically in Scorpio, and the second half ends in Ophiuchus.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah, and your Mercury is third pada of Anuradha on the Ophiuchus side.
Yes, yes.
And something I noticed, you were born, Tarif. You were born during a Mercury retrograde, which is interesting.
Wow.
A Mercury retrograde, and I'll see. That was your Saturn was in retrograde as well, and your Rahu. Interesting.
So Rahu was in Magha, I think, in the Vedic, and then
yeah, you're got to get it back here. So you're yeah, so you're number, okay, yeah, so you're Magha in the Mastering the Zodiac. Your where your Rahu is at. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So your Rahu in Mastering the Zodiac, your Rahu is second pada of Ashlesha.
Oh yes, yes.
In Leo. Yeah.
Oh yes.
And I think that's your Rahu.
Oh yes. I don't have Ashlesha placements in my chart in the Vedic one. So.
Do you think it's more realistic what it says on the Mastering the Zodiac chart of yours?
Yeah. It follows the astronomical how do I say it? Astronomical observation of the night sky, and I've been trying to look for something along those lines. I just started looking into astrology just 4 years ago in 2017. Really? Yeah. And there's this thing about every 100 years being how do I say it? It's ruled by I think it's on a universal scale or galactic scale. I'm not sure, but every 100 years is ruled by a nakshatra. Yeah, and it started from I think 4,300 to 4,300 BCE.
Right.
To well, essentially now, well, and I found that we're in the Vedic, I did some calculation in the Mahabharat,
right.
I think from Chandragupta Maurya to the Mahabharat, 1,100 years passed. So 11 nakshatras passed. So that's Magha to Purva Ashadha.
Really?
Yeah. And we just shifted out of Anuradha in 2015, and now in Jeshta, if that's how you want to pronounce it. And this is ruled by
Mercury
and Mars.
Yeah. Mercury and Mars, yeah.
So we have a lot of issues. We have not issues, but we have a lot of contentions, I'd say, in society about issues with regards to the gender. Well, well, not about the planets, but we can see clearly how this nakshatra is playing out, and so we see a lot of, so Mars is a planet of, it's a masculine planet, so but it's more it's more of the insecure. Aries was very insecure, so he was fierce, aggressive, but he was very insecure. He backed down. He's, whoa, like, I can't handle this battle anymore. As you can see in poems, in the Greek poems, and if he got overwhelmed, and
Wow.
and so we can see with Mars, you usually see, how do I call them? They're people with Mars placements are usually are within. I think it's, if it's okay to mention her. Like, I watched Claire Nocte. Do you know her?
Yeah, I'm familiar. Yeah.
She mentioned how she. Well, I do my own research, like, just to make sure she's just to make sure I get a correct interpretation, like through my books, and she's right. Like, these people tend to be MGTOWs, or if you're familiar with them, like, and we see those communities flourishing since just very recently.
They tend to make what again? Sorry.
They tend to be MGTOWs.
Okay.
Like the brahmachari or celibate community.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're there's so much different from sun dominant men who are just who are more who are not insecure, who don't play who don't really play victim, but they like to, how do I say, they like to assert their dominance.
Yeah. Assertive.
They're more assertive, yes. And
so those are Leo. Those are like Leo natives compared to.
They're Krithika, Uttar Phalguni, and Uttar Ashadha.
Ruled by the sun ruled. I meant.
Yeah. And these they are very, how do I say it? These sun dominant nakshatras are very. The nakshatra I am born on in the Vedic is Uttar Ashadha, and that's the exaltation of this. Sorry. Of the sun.
Right. Yeah.
And the sun is the karaka of the spirit, of spirituality, and the soul.
Yeah. You're definitely so for several years you mentioned, or about 4 years you've been on the Vedic astrology you've been researching. So you're definitely more of an expert than I am about it, because I've only it hasn't even been a couple of years. I think it's only been a couple of years with me that I've been researching the Vedic, and it was AusterianAstrology.com, basically Jade Soul Luna, who's the host of AusterianAstrology.com. He's really the one who grabbed my attention on it, who got my attention on it when he started teaching the Greek version of the Vedic astrology system, about the 27 signs. And so that's really got what. So I got his book. His book was called. The name of his book, Austerian Astrology, The Lost System of Alexander the Great, Volume 1, which was, I think it was published around 2009. And it's not so much about the history of Alexander the Great, but he mentions that Alexander the Great was the primary reason why the original Greco system, or Greek system of the 27 nakshatras was during his conquests. He delivered the info. Basically, he got the info about it about the astrology system from the Babylonians and the Egyptians. I think the Egyptians first, the Egyptians were teaching it first. Then it went to the Babylonians, and then from the Babylonians, it went to, during his conquests, he brought the info over to India when he went to India. And to this day, India and Tibet, they're the only ones who still follow it and practice it. Whereas in Greece, in the old Babylonian places, they no longer followed it when because Catholicism uprose. Catholicism and other religions came about, and they basically, people followed that instead. So, but it's just like, that's just how it came about over history. And so, so that's the story. That's basically the story in a nutshell of how, of where the Vedic astrology system originated from originally, according to Jade Luna, of what he tells. And it's pretty authentic too. And I would recommend to people too to get that book, for if they to basically to see an insight of the history of the origin of where the Vedic astrology system originated. And he said it's of all astrology systems, it's the oldest. The Vedic system of astrology is the oldest one of all of them, followed by us humans, apparently. So that's which is probably not too surprising, as it's quite, but it's definitely gotten up there. Like in North America, particularly, it's really gotten up there in popularity in recent years, like within the last 15, 20 years, maybe. And I think Jade Luna and a number of other people are responsible for that, for like getting it on the map.
Yeah, and what is it gonna say? My star in the Vedic Ashadha is ruled by all the gods, or
Really?
the Vishwadevas.
No surprise. Yeah.
The Vishwadevas. And so Vishva, or they could be seen as the celestial ancestors. Like Magha is the Pitras, so just the ancestors. But Magha, funny how Magha and Uttarshara are pretty compatible. And
right.
And I noticed that Ketu and Sun dominant nakshatras are pretty compatible with each other, except Mula and Uttarshara. I don't see that. The only reason why I'm compatible with people born in Mula is because of my Anuradha and the Vedic astrology.
Right.
Or they have something else as their sun or ascendant.
It could be. I would wonder that. So you're saying regards to Mula and Uttarshada don't seem to get along well.
Yeah.
Or that could be because of Mula, the animal that represents Mula is the dog, and the mongoose. Uttarshada is the mongoose. Perhaps the dogs and mongoose don't get along well, because maybe the dog, because you know how dogs like to sniff, right? But if they get near a territorial mongoose, the mongoose are pretty, I imagine they're pretty territorial or aggressive. So maybe that has something to do with it, perhaps. But then again, that because Jade Luna pointed that out as well. He answers my questions all the time when I email him. And I think he mentioned about the because I asked him about the compatibility among nakshatras, and he said the matching of animals is a very big one. He said, according to their animals, that they.
I think. Sorry. Mula is in between. Mula, even Mula and Jeshta are all sort of compatible, I think. Jeshta is the goddess Lakshmi, I think. But it's ruled by Indra, and Mula is ruled by Nriti, or is ruled by a Lakshmi and Niriti, and she is said to she is said to be born out of the, well, how do I say it? The hind of Brahma.
This is Jesta, right?
The goddess, yeah.
Yeah.
In the Puranas, and she is the counterpart of she's the goddess of scarcity and lack of wealth, while Lakshmi, which is the goddess of wealth and prosperity, along with, I think, along with Kuber. Kuber is also one is how do I say it? He's sort of the male counterpart of Lakshmi. Well, no, well,
yeah,
if you know what I mean, yeah. And he also holds a mongoose, so he's also associated with Uttar Ashadha.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow, is that depicted in some like portraits or something? Like, is there?
I think it's in the Puranas, in the Puranic
really?
stories. Yeah.
Oh really? And something that's been very evident to me is there's some famous people like celebrities and such, and also people I know personally, like in my own life, where who are a Jesta moon, they're Jesta moon natives, and I've always noted, like I've always been like drawn to them, or like I'm one who would like follow their lead, like if they needed help with something, if they got me a job and they wanted me to get, like, I would find it hard to say no to these people. And this was before I knew anything about the Vedic astrology. And as it turns out, Anuradha is a real I really believe Anuradha is a real follower of Jesta, because they're the two hares, or the two rabbits. Some say the rabbits are the animals, some say camels or deer, but in Jay Luna's book, he says the animals are rabbits. And so now it all makes sense to me why I don't think it's a coincidence that, if I'm an Anuradha moon, they're a Jesta moon. And so when I like, because I think the nakshatras, each nakshatra that's ahead of the other. Everything good?
Yeah. My mom's in the background. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No worry. Yeah. Yeah. Do you ever notice that each nakshatra that's ahead of the other, like the one next, it seems the one behind it seems to be drawn to they seem to be drawn to because just like the 12 signs from Aries to Pisces, the first sign is drawn to the second's drawn to the third, so on and so on. So I'm wondering if that's the same case with the nakshatras. It seems.
Yes. My brother is also a Jeshta native, I think, in the Vedic astrology, and and funny how he's also a Kritik son.
Oh really? Kritik really?
Kritik and Jeshta are very compatible, because Scorpio and Taurus, I think it has to do with Scorpio Taurus compatibility.
Yeah, they're the pole, basically the opposite signs, as they call them. They also call them the polarity signs. I don't know why they I'm not too sure what they're referring to with that, but basically they're the opposite. They're on the opposite ends of the circle, like Taurus and Scorpio are, and Aries and Libra and Gemini and Sagittarius and so on. They say those two signs they're really drawn to one another. And that I think has a lot to do with why they seem to get along well as friends or in relationships too. And I see that's the same case in the Chinese astrology as well. The opposite signs on the opposite ends of the zodiac circle, they're strongly attached, attracted to one another.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think my dad is a Satabhishaka moon, I think, and in the Vedic, and I don't know if he's Dhanishta or moon in the mastering the zodiac. He could be, but he's born between Satabhisha and Purva Bhadra, I think.
Nice. Yeah. I know pretty much everybody. There's a lot of people in my family who are they're either Satabhishak, and this is all in Aquarius too, Satabhishak moon, or and I know quite a few Danishta or Dawnista moon as well, but most of them are Satabhishak on the Aquarius side, but going by mastering the zodiac.
Danishta natives tend to be famous, like Marilyn Monroe. Who else?
Frank Sinatra. So in the mastering the zodiac, he's Dawnishta moon. Frank Sinatra, the icon. He's the iconic singer and actor born from 1915.
Oh yes.
Frank Sinatra. Yeah.
And I think I tend to get well with Danishta natives. I have a friend who's probably a Danishta Satabhisha native, and he's very intelligent. He's very studious, and he's
that's the Mars and Venus. That could be the Mars and Venus relationship, right? With the Purva Ashadha's Venus and Dawnista's Mars.
Yeah, and I tend to get along with Rahu dominant people too. Rahu.
Oh yeah, that's Ardra. You pronounce it Ardra, right?
Ardra, I especially get along with. I have a friend who's born in Ardra and the mastering the zodiac.
Yeah,
like my best friend. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, because, and you see, I think that's the Sagittarius and Gemini. The Sagittarius and Gemini signs. They're drawn to one another, and I think it has. Yeah, that's just my own a theory and opinion, though. But that
he's born in Punarvasu and in the Vedic. But
his son.
Yeah. He's also an Anuradha's son and a Punarvasu moon.
Oh really? Oh, they're like, they say I heard the Punarvasu and Pushya. They say some Vedic astrologers, they say they're like the best. They say to have a Punarvasu native in your life, you're very fortunate to have a Punarvasu native. And they say Pushya, those with a Pushya moon are really, some call Pushya the best. If there was a ranking of best nakshatra, some say it's Pushya, but that's just, I don't know what your opinion would be of that. But I think it's the Pushya is definitely up there, I would say.
I actually have a friend who has a Pushya sun and a Punarvasu moon, and he's very intelligent, and
yeah.
He's only 20, 21 years old, but he knows a lot. He probably knows as much as me.
Yeah. So he's been following
about various different topics and subject matters, like history, mythology, religion, just about anything. And he he's he said he wasn't really a good student, but by looking at him, he seems very educated. Or like he probably self-educated himself.
Right. Yeah. That a lot of people like, as in doing his own research in that, like, right.
Yeah, bro.
With, yeah. What's his birth date? Like, not, you don't have to tell the year, but like July, what day of the year is his birth date, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, okay. It's July 30th, I think.
July 30th. Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's yeah, people born the end of July. Yeah, so in Mastering the Zodiac, people born the end of July, early August, that's Pushya, sun, the sun in Pushya on the Mastering the Zodiac.
Triple H and Dolph Ziggler have their son Pushya, I think.
Yeah,
the Vedic.
the sun.
I'm not sure. They probably have it in Punarvasu or
Yeah.
Pushya in the Mastering the Zodiac.
Yeah, people in late July, people at the end of July and early August but that's on Mastering the Zodiac, the Pushya season, which is only like a couple of weeks long. Each of the nakshatras of the sun, with the sun in them, they each last about a couple of weeks each throughout the year. And by the way, so I wanted to ask your opinion. We'll get on the topic of Purva Phalguni. So tonight, right now, we have the full moon on the Mastering the Zodiac. We have the full moon right now in Purva Phalguni on Mastering. Yes. It's still the Leo, and we're in the Leo side. It's on the Leo side, and I think it's about 6 hours away before the cusp, before the moon crosses over from Leo to Virgo. And so on the Mastering the Zodiac, interesting, I learned this recently on the Mastering the Zodiac. So the most famous person I know with Purva Phalguni moon is Sean Connery. Sean Connery is one. And this is on Mastering the Zodiac, though. And
I have a cousin actually with a Purva Phalguni moon and a Ashwini sun.
On MTZ? On
Vedic, but in Mastering Zodiac, I'm not sure. Probably he's a Magha sun. He could be an Uttar Phalguni ascendant in the Vedic, but and he's he's not that tall. He keeps me good company. I like talking to him.
Yeah. This is is he the when's his birth date?
April 18th.
April 18th. Yeah. Yeah, so people born, so in numerology, people born on the 18th, they're highly adaptable people. This in numerology, but I think that has to do with, because the number 18 is a 9, like that's a 9 a type of number, which is ruled by Mars. So it could have to do with the Mars rulership. But I notice people born on the 9th of the month, the 18 and 27, very adaptable people, and that's.
Yeah.
So that could be what it is. So friendly, adaptable. Usually, in usual cases, that means friendly as well. And I meant to mention as well, Tarif, that so the most famous, I'd say the most famous person with the Purva Ashadha moon is George Clooney. George Clooney.
I love
who
that
I did the video. Yeah, who I did. He's up there of my. Him along with basically him and Matt Damon, they're up there for my most favorite actors. So, and do you have any favorite actors, like among like from Hollywood and that, or if you're into movies that much?
I'm sort of into movies. But my favorite movie has to got to be. I haven't watched movies in a while, actually, but
but George Clooney is a pretty familiar
yeah,
name with.
yeah, definitely George Clooney, Brad Pitt. I think
The other
Gina
night,
Carano, Gina Carano is also a Uttar Shada native.
How do you pronounce her name?
Gina Carano.
Okay, I don't think I've heard
She
her.
was in Deadpool. She was.
Oh, okay. Oh, was she was a UFC fighter.
Yes,
Was
yes,
she?
yes.
Okay, that's okay. Now I know. Thanks for I'll probably do a video. So some of these, let me know again a list. So what's going to happen, Tarif, is let me know. You can email me a list of future videos I'll do for celebrities for some, because I could definitely use some ideas as well for celebrity videos. You mentioned you wanted me to do one on Bruce Willis, right?
Yes.
Bruce Willis, what, he's March the 19th, but I won't wait till March the 19th. I'll do it soon. We don't have to wait till the other day. There, you know what? There's actually a number of people. There's a number of famous people born in mid March and on the 19th. So that's, but but I'll be doing it every year though. Every year I'll do a different one. Like I'm not going to do too many videos at one time, of course. And,
oh yes.
But yeah, from okay, yeah, she was the UFC fighter, and she's been in a few movies. You mentioned, the first one. Okay, yeah. Okay, well, Tarif, we're gonna do. So you're gonna join me. For more videos in the future. I hope, right?
Yes.
And typically on a Saturday night. I think Saturday nights are great, don't you? And it's not often. It's not often we. This Saturday night was pretty special with the full moon we had, of course, right? So that's quite a treat. And by the way, did you see it yesterday? The moon, in my location here in Ontario, Canada, that it was a cloud yesterday evening, completely cloudless sky, and the moon was like, I've never seen a moon like that, it was one of the biggest moons I ever seen just last night. And so that was but did you get a glimpse of it this weekend or
yes.
yesterday? Is it pretty big, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, so one of these, and by the way, one of these days, Tarifs, will definitely you and I will go to a WWE event. I'd love that, wouldn't you? Or one of these days, and when I get VIP passes, and you're gonna come with me to the back locker room or their rooms where we're gonna meet all the wrestlers in person. We're gonna get VIP access, especially from my gift to you, Tarif. So look forward to that. That's something for you to look forward to.
What would explain, how do I say it, the sort of pious lifestyle I live, like no drugs, no meat, no alcohol, no smoking. Like what would be descriptive in astrology? Like Uttar Shada people tend to be very pious, spiritual oriented, righteous.
Yeah. In regards to past life, if with
sorry
no worry. Yeah.
I think the sun in Anuradha, I checked the description, and that had to do with diet and lifestyle, and it also had to do with being in the political administration and being in power. But it also had to do with how do I say it? They have a strict diet. I'm not sure about the moon sign, but in the sun sign.
In regards to the sun placement.
and even ascendant to probably too, because
the ascendant is similar to the sun placement as far as I've heard and read about.
yeah. And so Anuradha is ruled by Mitra, the Surya, and sorry.
No worry. Yeah. So so let me know that specific question about that, and we'll definitely discuss that in our next episode or next meeting, of course. But give me a shout anytime though, Tarif. Yeah. And so thanks so much for joining us today, Tarif. And so I'm going to end the recording right now, but we'll still continue chatting if you want. And then and when this is done, I'll send you to it as soon as I can. For your or send it to you, or no, I am posting it tonight as well. Okay, guys, so thanks again for watching, and again to all my subscribers and viewers out there, let's give a great thanks to Tarif today for joining us, and definitely more shows in the future with you, Tarif. And again, keep your questions coming, guys, at scorpiooxmen@gmail.com. Keep your questions coming. And please subscribe as well for your support. So thanks again, guys. All the best. God bless. Thank you. Thanks again,
See
Tarif.
you guys later.
Yeah. Okay, so